Hello and welcome back to the Isle of Wight College's Open Day. We're here today talking about the wide range of courses that we offer here at the college and thinking forward to September. As we come out of lockdown, this is a good time to start thinking about the future and planning your next steps, whether or not that's studying a full-time course or looking at your future career options. Here at the college we've got lots of options, and during the course of the afternoon we've been talking to some of our curriculum managers, and I'm delighted that we've now got Paul McKillop, who is our curriculum manager for digital industries, so computing and all things as such as all things geek. So Paul's just going to give us a quick overview of those areas. So welcome Paul, thanks for joining us. Perhaps if we start with a quick overview of what courses you offer and at what levels.
Okay, yeah, we're very good with the range of courses that we have because we start at foundation level for those people who are perhaps coming with few qualifications into the college, and then we go right through to level 5, which is the second year of a university degree. Excellent. Through our HND programme. In between those we have level 2, level 3 of course, but yes, we go right the way through, and we really encourage progression and very proud of our progression rates.
That's great. Yeah. So there's some real flexibility there. So if you're coming from college with perhaps the right GCSEs, you can start at level 3.
Absolutely.
But if you're not quite there, then there's the option of coming in at level 1 or 2 and working your way up.
And given the sort of the profile that we get, sometimes it's okay that if a student has just missed a GCSE, one of the GCSEs, English or Maths, then we will consider them for level 3, but it's not a guarantee that we would take them in, but absolutely they should apply as high as you think you can go.
Excellent. And you talked about going up to level 5, so which university do we work with?
We've worked with the University of Chichester, and we're finishing off a course programme with them, and we're moving to the University of Portsmouth. It looks really exciting in terms of the units that we're building. They've been really flexible in terms of how we can structure our programme to play to our own expertise. So we're really looking forward to that.
That's great. And thinking about a sort of typical study week for a student, what kind of things will students be doing when they're at college?
Our principal focus is on what we would call development. And the development that we have is kind of in sort of probably 3 themes. Programming development, that's me, I'm the programmer. And then we've got web development, which we were mostly through Dan, and then we've got games development, and we're very lucky to have Sam, who's an industry qualified. He used to work for some of the really big games development companies, helped to develop Assassin's Creed, for example. So we're very lucky to have Sam's expertise on board, and we're also very proud that we drive to work with the best technology that we can. So for example, Unreal Engine, we're using lots of JavaScript, CSS, TypeScript, ES6, C#. We're really lucky.
Yeah. And of course digital industries is a growing sector in terms of the economy, and I think certainly during the recent lockdown and
I was going to say I think some of the way in which we've promoted the digital industries in the past has been vindicated by the use of Zoom, the use of Teams, the use of lots of technologies that people wouldn't perhaps been a little bit scared of before.
Yeah.
You know, and I think these computers are going to catch on.
Yeah, I think it's getting us all to think differently, isn't it, about how we work, and it's really important. So, carrying on from that, what kinds of career options do people have once they've completed their studies?
I think because there is such a common use of computing across the whole of the types of industries that you might consider, every business really needs some expertise in computing. So perhaps somebody at level 2 might go in to help support people on a support desk. And then you go right up to, as we say, to level 5, and level 3 and level 5 tend to be the people who will either choose to go to university, and we've got a really good reputation for progression to HE, or they might go to work for a company. We work a lot with Rapa Nui. They've been brilliant with us and helping us to put an industrial spin on things. And I went over to visit them and went into their development team, which is now up 8 developers. 5 have come from us. You know, that's full-time big jobs, you know, proper jobs, and they're developing in PHP, all sorts of things. Really good.
And it's surprisingly, it's a growing sector on the Isle of Wight, isn't it, in terms of digital industries and companies based here?
Absolutely, because there's a certain thing about the lifestyle, isn't there? The fact you choose to come to the Isle of Wight and live in the Isle of Wight, and it doesn't make it impossible because you're on the Isle of Wight, because you don't depend on shipping goods.
Yeah, so there's some good opportunities for people to gain some experience working with employers and then potential career options working with them.
And I think there's a growing focus on the fact that we can do this, we can do it, that we can do it well. I mean, digital industries are a thing that are growing in focus as because of the coronavirus and so forth. And maybe people are starting to think that it's a possibility they hadn't considered before.
Yeah.
So it's really good, you know.
And finally, if you were thinking about sort of, if you were trying to inspire someone about digital industries, which, you know, when you say those words, it might not appeal to everybody. What would you say? What would you say to inspire someone to say, you know, this is the career choice for you?
One of the great things about digital industries and programming and development in particular is that every job you do is brand new. So nothing repetitive happens. You may use some techniques that you use again and again, but every job is brand new. So there's the lack of boredom in that sort of aspect, because if it wasn't brand new, somebody else would have just written it and you'd go and buy it off the shelf. So every job we do is different, which is really exciting. Now I learn something every day.
Yeah, and it's changing all the time, isn't it? You know, sort of, if we even think 10 years ago, we wouldn't be thinking about doing video calls and all those kind of things. It's also rapidly moving on. So who knows where we'll be in 10 years' time? So.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's brilliant that the prospects for people who are starting their careers now, they'll be dealing with things that I can't even imagine. Isn't that wonderful? You know, that they're going to be doing something that I can't even think of.
Yeah. World of sci-fi. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what Arthur C. Clarke said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That any new technology looks like magic. Yeah, which it does.
Excellent. So, and is there any final words you'd want to say to the students that we haven't covered? So.
I mean, the prospect of a digital industry career is changing, and I think that relying on university careers, which used to be the case, is not the case anymore. We've got lots of good opportunities for apprenticeships, which didn't exist really in computing up until fairly recently. And that don't just think it's about one thing. The range is vast. You know, a lot of people just put it under one badge of computing, but networking, web development, you know, all sorts of things, hardware development, really, really powerful range of stuff to choose from. And one thing is that it's quite encouraging, I think, is that a lot of people think that they can't do something, and we often say that some of the best programmers are the people who are representing themselves with some sort of condition, you know, for example, autism or so forth. They make the best programmers because they're so goal-driven. So please, it's an open opportunity for anyone, even somebody my age.
Well, thank you, Paul. That's really interesting, and it's good to see that, you know, there's a growing range of options for students of all abilities and ranges.
We've seen nothing yet.
That's amazing. So, well, thank you for joining us, Paul. And if you're interested in digital industries as a potential career option and studying here at the college, then please contact us. You can Google Isle of Wight College to find our webpage and all the contact details, or you can find them on our Facebook page. And we can arrange for you to have a one-to-one telephone conversation with Paul or someone in his team, and they'll be able to give you some individual advice about your options and how to apply. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you.